Alrighty, how you doing? This is going to be one of 4 videos we send out each week just to kind of walk you through the questions for the week and what we expect you to do. Should be really quick. This is going to be the longest of them. Still shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. Feel free to fast forward, rewind, pause, or email Mr. Porter or myself if you have any questions. Right, our email addresses are just there. First thing you're going to need to know, on the first page, you're going to have these questions about earning money, and both set of questions are the same. That's because what we want you to do is right now, the first job is answer those 3 questions with what you know. If you know all of these already, that's awesome. Then you're just going to get some practice using these math skills. If you know none of these, that's fine. Have a guess, ask some friends, ask some family, fill in what you can. At the end of these 4 weeks, we're going to come back, we're going to fill in the same questions, and we're going to see if we learned anything, if we were right with our initial guesses, okay? And we'll kind of have a discussion about that. So do that first. 1, 2, 3 questions. Fill those in. Doesn't have to be correct. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through just one page. We're going to do the black words are all keywords. They're things you really need to know to answer these questions. And in green, that's going to be our examples. Okay, so they're going to kind of match up with the questions that you've got in front of you. So whether you want to do those as you go, whether you want to watch this, pause, and then have a go at those, or just watch this and do those later. All right. First one you need to know is the word salary, okay? A salary is how much money someone earns, and that's usually in a year, okay? So someone's salary is how much money they earn in 1 year. The way we tend to write that is their amount of money. So let's say, let's be generous, we'll go $65,000, and we write it as per annum, or PA. That per, just meaning per, annum meaning year, comes from annual, so something that happens yearly. All right, so we tend to write it as just a PA at the end. Now, if we wanted to figure out how that pay, that salary is split up based on maybe year, weeks, fortnights, days, we need to know how many weeks, fortnights, days go into 1 year. All right, 1 year is going to be 52 weeks. Now we know that a fortnight is 2 weeks. That's how most people get paid. They get paid once every fortnight. So that's their salary broken up into fortnightly payments. If 2 weeks is 1 fortnight, then we'd have half as many fortnights in a year. So 26. Last one is days. There are 365 days in a year. Now, technically, there are 365 and a quarter. All right. And sometimes if you Google how many days are in a year, you'll see lots of things mentioning quarters. That's because every 4 years, we've got these 4 quarter years, and that gets us our leap year. It's an extra day. All right. In terms of the maths we're doing, we're not too worried about that. You can just go 365. But just so you know, if you see 365.25 or 365 and 1/4, it's just accounting for the leap year, which we don't have to worry about. Cool. All right, we'll have a go at a couple quick examples here. Again, feel free to pause, slow down, and email one of us if you have any questions. These should match up pretty closely with the questions that you're doing for this week. Okay, so for the first example, we've got Greg. He earns a salary of $67,000 per annum, and we're going to find his weekly pay, fortnightly pay, and monthly pay. All right, so we need to grab that $67,000 and we need to divide it or split it up into how many weeks, fortnights, or months go into a year. We know that there are 52 weeks in a year. And if you type that into your calculator or your phone, you go 67,000 divided by 52. You should get quite a yucky number, but $1,288. Now on my calculator, it's giving me 461,538. Whenever we do money, we're always going to be rounding to 2 decimal places. That means 2 numbers after the decimal point. Okay, what we need to look at when we're rounding is that last digit that last number, which is a 6 in this case, if you look at it with the number next to it, 61, is that closer to being 60 or is it closer to being 70? For this one, it's much closer to being 60, so we leave it as a 6. If it was closer to being 70, let's say it was 6, 8, 3, blah, 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 now that pair is closer to being 70, we would round up and we'd go 4, 7. Okay, but it wasn't, it was 4, 6. Always 2 decimal places with money, because that's the nearest cent. Okay, now if we do fortnightly, it's going to be the same idea, same amount of money, but we're going to split that into 26 fortnights. Then in a fortnight, you would be getting double your weekly pay, $2,576.92. Finally, monthly, it's the same amount of money. Got to know how many months go into a year. That's 12. Pop it into your calculator, and I'm getting 5,583.3. Now, on my calculator, I've got a little line up there. That means it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, blah, 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 blah. That's what that little line means above it. Your calculator might just give you the 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. If that's the case, same deal. We go in 2 decimal places. 33, is that closer to being 30 or 40? It's closer to being 30, so we just leave it alone. We don't have to round up. Cool, so that's salary. We take our amount, we divide it by either the weeks, fortnights, or maybe days if you want to figure out how many or how much you got paid for a number of days. Okay, a couple more keywords we need to go over. So salary is for people who are generally full-time or part-time. It's how much they get paid per year based on how many hours they're working. It's kind of a bit more flexible. It's just a set amount, right? A wage is how much someone is paid per hour. I'll chuck a dollar sign in there. So it's how much they're paid per hour. So that's what most of you would do with your casual jobs, right? At your age, where you can't really study full-time and work full-time, you'd probably be working casual. So maybe you earn $12, $15 an hour. The number of hours you work, that figures out how much you get paid for that week. All right? Sometimes there are penalty rates, and penalty rates in this case is actually a good thing. The penalty's on your employer, not on you. There's 2 examples of these. Time and a half, usually on Sundays, all right, means that whatever you get paid, all right, so let's say your normal wage, you get paid that times 1.5 or 1.5. Okay, so if you normally got paid $12 an hour, on Sundays, you might get paid $18 an hour. So it's pretty good. It's a bit better. If you were to work a public holiday, that's generally when you get paid double time. Okay, and double time is the same idea. You're going to take your normal wage, and this time we're going to double it, so times it by 2. So let's say you were earning that $12. You're going to double it. And on a public holiday, now you're earning $24 for every hour that you work. That's why working public holidays is awesome money. Okay, so one more example to go through, and then I'll explain the questions you're doing for this week. So we've got Sarah. Sarah earns $16 an hour, and she gets paid time and a half for any hours that are after 10 p.m. So maybe she's working at Woolies, stacking shelves at night. We want to know how much she earns in a week that she worked 14 hours before 10 p.m., so just normal hours, and 3 hours after 10 p.m. Okay, so we've got to split this question into 2 parts. We have 14 hours at $16 per hour. That's her normal rate. Okay, so you grab your calculator or your phone and you go 14 times 16. That's $224 for just her normal hours. Next, we're going to do those hours after 10 p.m. where she got that time and a half. So we're going to go Her normal pay is $16. We need to times it by 1.5 to get her time and a half. And then how many hours she worked, how many hours she worked in that week, which was 3. Okay, then again, we're just going to type all of that in one line into our calculator, and you should get $72, which is pretty good for 3 hours work. And then her total amount for the week is going to be those two numbers added together. We should give you $296. Cool. So hopefully those examples help you out with your questions. I'll quickly walk you through what we want you to do this week. You'll see the first kind of package of questions is earning money basics. We're going to start with the basics, and then it's going to level up kind of every single week. How do we get rid of these? Cool. So there's a question about finding the weekly pay, comparing annual salary, monthly pay, comparing wages. There's a few questions here. All right, there's 6 all up. Oh, sorry, I lied to you, 7. And then there's one kind of bigger task here, which is earning money salaries. It's all kind of like the first set of pages. So your jobs here, part A, we want you to list 5 jobs in the table below and then estimate their salary. So for example, you might pick a teacher, and you might think teachers get paid maybe $50,000 a year. Right? That's your guess. That's all good. I want you to do that for 5 different jobs. Then I just want you to jump on Google. I don't mind how accurate it is. Try and keep it in Australia. Try and keep it local if you can. All right? Just find an actual answer from Google as to what their actual salary might be. It's obviously going to differ a lot. So for example, a starting teacher generally will get about $64,000 to $67,000. Okay, compare that to my 50,000, and you can see that I was $17,000 off. That's all I want you to do for each of these jobs. I want you to have 5 jobs, 5 guesses, 5 actual answers from the internet, figure out what your difference was, and then in this box here, I just want you to add up each of your differences to get a total error. That's how far you were off altogether. Don't worry how big that is, doesn't matter. It's just a bit of fun, but also a way to check kind of what we think salaries are and what they actually might be. Sweet, so that's all you need to do for this week. All right, those instructions just explain what I just said. Work through those questions. Hopefully examples help you, and we'll be back next week.